Guys, I have to confess something. I've decided to switch from Canon to... How'd you guys like that little intro sequence? I actually wanted to experiment a little bit by not using camera movement to create movement, but I thought I would use light to make movement. And this actually right now is the LumaCube Panel Mini, which is this super small LED light. I think it weighs something like 180 grams only, and it's powerful. Even though it's super small, it fits literally into the palm of my hand. It's really small, but yet it's super powerful. It goes from 3200 Kelvin to 5600 Kelvin, so you have tungsten and daylight. And what's really cool is, I don't know if you can see, but it has this little LCD screen right there, or a LED screen right here. And a lot of times with these little LED lights, you never know how much battery life do they actually have, because usually you just have battery bars, but you don't actually know the time limit. And based on how strong you have the light on for, whether you have 20% of the intensity or 40% intensity or 60 or 100 and so on, it'll tell you how much time you have left in the battery. So for example, right now, I have 100%, and it says that I have 1.2 hours left. So, you know, while I'm shooting, I know, okay, I got 1.2 hours left before the battery dies. So really crazy how they just keep on developing and making these things smaller, brighter, softer, better. Honestly, camera companies and camera accessory companies just keep on proving their products that you guys are making it too easy for us. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out, the LumaCube Panel Mini is going for a total of $60 US. Very affordable, but very handy if you need that extra light to just spice things up, or like I did, to create movement in your shots. So if you haven't seen these guys before, I'm going to make sure to link it below for you guys to check out. Anyways, on to actually what I want to talk about in today's video. That's right, I have decided to jump camera systems from Canon to Olympus. Now, Canon users, before you get angry, before you write some angry threats in the comment section, hear me out. I still love Canon. I love the Canon EOS R. I am not about to sell all my camera gear and all my lenses, but I don't want to assume that Canon is the best camera system for my needs before testing out other camera systems. I don't know about you guys, but at least for myself, I'm often a person of routine and habits, and I get used to a certain way, and I don't like changing things up. And I think oftentimes I might actually even just say that I think Canon cameras are the best just because it's what I'm used to. And that's why in this season, I want to challenge myself to try new camera systems and see that is there actually a better camera system out there to serve the needs and purposes that I have. When it comes to trying new things, there's always that learning curve. It's awkward in the beginning. It's more work than just using what we're used to. But once you get over the learning curve, you're often so much happier that you took the time to get over the learning curve because the new system or workflow or piece of gear actually helps you out. And I noticed that myself a lot, that I'm so hesitant and it takes me so long to try something new, and the learning process is not very enjoyable. But once I do get through it, I'm very happy that I did that. And that happens all the time when it comes to updating my MacBook Pro or updating Adobe programs or trying a new piece of gear. When it comes to like gimbals and stuff, I'm always so hesitant because I just don't enjoy the learning curve. So that's why I want to challenge myself, and rather than just assuming that Canon is the best camera system for me, I want to try out new camera systems, and one camera system that's really caught my attention is Olympus. Now, for a lot of you guys must be thinking, wow, that's really random. I haven't heard too much about Olympus, and that's true. I think most YouTube filmmakers, content creators, you're either shooting on Canon or Sony, but recently Olympus has been putting out very interesting cameras. And I actually had a meeting with my good friend Henrik from Olympus, Finland, and he showed me the new M5 Mark III and the M1 Mark III, and it's crazy. The cameras are really good. So the first body is the EM5 Mark III. Now this is the little brother of the other camera body, and this guy is only about 400 grams, and as you can tell, it easily fits in the palm of my hand. It's hard to sometimes show off how small a camera body is, but this guy is really small. You could easily just put it in your jacket pocket with a lens on it, go around filming, and no problem. You don't even have to have a camera bag anymore. Now, when it comes to the EM5, it's like a stripped down version of the EM1. The EM5 doesn't have all the extra features that a maybe pro-level filmmaker would have, but this is a great entry-level filmmaking camera, vlogging camera that you would want to use. Now, some of the features of the EM5, other than being very small and lightweight, it films 4K 24 frames per second at 237 megabits per second. The footage is really sharp looking. On top of that, it has 1080 120 frames per second, which the EOS R doesn't even have. The EOS R only has 720 at 120 frames per second, which is very interesting. As well, it has a great in-body image stabilization. It's not just digital image stabilization, but it's in-body stabilization, meaning when you're filming handheld, it looks like a gimbal. It's pretty insane. And then lastly, the most favorite thing that all vloggers want is the flip LCD screen. So comparing to the EOS R and the EM5, EOS R, you couldn't film 4K because it was cropped. You didn't have really great stabilization, and you couldn't film 120 frames per second at 1080. This camera has all of that. I think the only thing that I'm concerned about is how good will the autofocus be. The first few tests I did, the autofocus did really well when it comes to face detection and eye detection, but then when I was trying to focus on a certain object, it wasn't maybe as precise or accurate as the EOS R, but maybe I can work around that. Then the EM1 Mark III gets a little bit more advanced for filmmakers. It has all the features that the EM1 has, but more. This guy then as well has a log profile, so you can get that really flat dynamic range to get more stops of light, and as well to give more flexibility when it comes to grading. As well with EM1, there's more settings when it comes to the autofocus. You can change the speed, you can change the sensitivity, and even there's an option to change basically how much is the stabilization going to affect or fight against you when you're trying to pan, because a lot of times cameras with a really good image stabilizer, if you're trying to pan, it tries to fight against it and doesn't really pan, so you can actually turn it less or more in the sensitivity so that you can get the pan working right on the cameras. So that's basically the difference between the EM1 and the EM5 when it comes to video. So why am I personally tempted to switch over from Canon to Olympus? I think one of the main reasons that I was struggling with the Canon EOS R is that even though the camera body is very small, then the RF lenses are huge. The 15-35 lens and the 85mm lens that I'm using for RF line, they're huge. So it kind of feels frustrating that I'm having this small camera body for the fact that I want a small camera setup, but then I have to have this massive lens. Whereas with the EM Mark III, for example, one second, let me go get their two lenses. So here's two lenses that I'm really stoked about trying. This is the 12mm f2. So on a Micro Four Thirds camera, 12mm is essentially 24mm. So 24mm f2.0, and look how small it is. This lens is like a little shot glass. Then as well, if I want that really, really wide look for vlogging, I have the 7-14mm wide angle lens f2.8. It's a little bit bigger, but this is pretty much the biggest of the lenses, and actually it just looks big because it has a lens hood, but still super lightweight, super small setup when it comes to vlogging. The second reason why I'm tempted to switch over to Olympus is that with the EOS R, sometimes I've been struggling with the fact that the footage is not that sharp and crisp, and I would like to have that look sometimes. And filming with Olympus, being able to do 4K, 24 frames per second at 237 megabits, well, it's gonna look really good. It looks really sharp, so I'm really excited about that. And then lastly, I'm just very excited about the good image stabilization on this camera. It's nice to be able to film handheld, do run and gun, and when you have really good image stabilization, I think it's gonna make it even more fun to film run and gun. So those are the reasons why I'm really tempted to test out the Olympus cameras, work over the learning curve, learn the menus and the buttons, and then hopefully enjoy filming with Olympus cameras. I'm really excited about this journey. I don't know what the end result is going to be. It might be that for a few weeks I use the Olympus cameras and I find out that I don't like using them and I go back to Canon. But I want to give it a shot. I don't want to be so set in my ways and just assume that a certain camera system is the best for me just because it's what I've always used. I don't want to get stuck in traditions and just routines. I want to break out of that and use a new camera system that might actually bring a lot of new features and a lot of new skills out of me when it comes to making my videos and content for you guys on YouTube. So in the next few weeks, be expecting a lot more videos talking about Micro Four Thirds cameras, Olympus cameras, and hopefully you guys enjoy it too. I think for a lot of you guys, it might be a little bit of an eye-opener too, that there is a lot of camera systems out there that we actually haven't tried out yet. Anyways, enough about cameras. To end this video, I want to remind you about two things. First things first, the epic B-roll battle contest. So many submissions have already been sent to me. I'm so excited about that. I can't wait to look through all of that and decide who are the top 3 winners. If you're totally clueless as to what I'm talking about, in the last 2 weeks, we've been hosting an epic B-roll contest, and you still have time to be a part of it. Basically, all you gotta do is create an epic B-roll sequence and make sure that you're using music from Epidemic Sound. If you don't have Epidemic Sound, I'm gonna make sure to link it below. You can click the link and get a free trial and use the music and the sound effects from Epidemic Sound to make an epic B-roll sequence. The sequence can be about anything. It can be about food, it can be about your favorite hobby, it can be about whatever you wanna do it. And send it to my email through WeTransfer, tepohapoya@gmail.com. And you have until the end of today to still submit your video. And the first prize winner is going to get 1-year subscription, personal or commercial, to Epidemic Sound. Along that, you're going to get the CineLut pack and the Lightroom presets from my shop for free. And then the second and third prize winners are going to get 6 months free subscription to Epidemic Sound. So those are great prizes worth lots of money. So may the best man or woman win. Second thing, I recently released my very own course on how to vlog and grow your YouTube channel. And this course is for anyone and everyone who wants to start a YouTube channel, but maybe you're afraid and you haven't jumped over the fence and started a YouTube channel. Or if you've recently started a YouTube channel, a lot of great things to think about. And even for people who have had a YouTube channel for a while, but you just haven't experienced the growth that you've been hoping to experience. And I think a lot of the topics that I talked about in the course will be helpful for you guys when it comes to growing your YouTube channel. So I'll make sure to link that below as well. So sorry if I feel like I'm a salesman right now, but hey, when I've created some resources, I've created them to help you guys, so I want to share it with you guys as much as possible. All right, guys, have a fantastic week. We'll see you next week.